Hey guys, Alex and Smoke here, back again. We're doing something a little different right now. We're going to be doing basically a little video where we're going to talk about some hot topics in wrestling and just what we think of them. And this is really one of the new things we're going to be trying with our group that we got going.
Yeah.
If you like it, let us know and we'll do some more. If not, well, we won't. But I just thought we'd talk about a bunch of big issues in wrestling right now.
Yeah, just run the ropes a little
Run the ropes, yep. So, and we're also thinking of a name, so we'll let you know if we figure out one. Let's start with the biggest topic right now in wrestling, I think. CM Punk versus The Rock at the Royal Rumble this Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Well, let's talk about that first. A few weeks back when that first promo between The Rock and CM Punk. What'd you think about that?
I thought that the segment was really well done.
Yes.
I must say that those guys did such a good job of making me care about that match, because before that I didn't at all.
Yeah.
So they did a nice job of that, and I thought that The Rock came out and he cut his usual promo, but he was still, he had the crowd in the palm of his hand like he does. And CM Punk, he, in my opinion, he kind of stole the show.
He did.
Stole The Rock's thunder.
Yeah.
But
I'll say right now, I think CM Punk, the top mic guy in the WWE, there is no one near his level. There's no one that can touch CM Punk on the mic.
Not in WWE.
Not in WWE.
Sure.
Absolutely not in WWE.
But that's a problem too.
Yeah, that's something you gotta step up.
They need a guy that can step up, because it's not that Punk is necessarily right every time.
No.
But there's nobody who will come up and give him
a run for his money.
Right. It's not really a debate. It's Punk is a heel because he comes out and tells the truth, and then the babyface comes out and says, "You're a jerk." Well, is that all you got? You got an argument better than that?
If they come on, oh, your beard's weird and you smell. It's
but that doesn't change the fact that what he just said is true. So
it's not like in wrestling. It's not necessarily who's right. It's about how persuasive you can be and how much you can convince the audience that you think you're right.
Yes,
that's the biggest thing. But let's not get into that whole debate. But I think the Punk, he outshined The Rock here, because he basically went out there. He's all business. He basically said the truth, how he's done everything without caring about the fans. Basically, he's basically I've done it without your approval, without your support. I've done it all by myself. And basically, I love this part where he basically said he's beaten the system. He beat Del Rio, who was WWE's chosen boy.
He was.
Yeah, he was. For a while he was. Probably still is. He beat John Cena. He beat Dolph Ziggler. He beat Daniel Bryan. He beat everyone that WWE threw of him. He basically just said I won. He won. He beat the system. And also I think he kind of called up The Rock when he said oh, The Rock, you make your stupid joke, blah blah blah.
Right.
And then The Rock kept doing the stupid jokes.
Right. He said that you're doing that same old tired shtick, and The Rock went right back to that. And that was fine then, but when Punk cut that promo on him and was saying those things to him, I thought, okay, now I'm gonna get The Rock.
Yeah.
That's here to not The Rock that faced Cena, the laughy.
Yeah. With Cena, you can be the jokey guy because that's kind of Cena's thing.
Right.
But with CM Punk,
he's
all
Cena.
business. He's all
not
business.
Cena.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was gonna drag that out of The Rock.
Yeah.
And then the following week on Raw, we get a Rock concert,
which was fun. Which the joke he played on Vicky was pretty funny.
I just felt they took that intensity and just pulled it right out from under.
Although the little promo he cut on Punk right at the end was good, and how basically I will say right now, Punk the week before the Rock concert had that great line your arms are too short to box with God. Yeah. That was awesome. I know it's I think it's a literary or a play reference, but it was awesome. It was perfect for.
It was it was well done.
And but Rock did a pretty good promo after the Rock concert on CM Punk, and then they had that big brawl, which really made you feel okay, these guys hate each other, which maybe in some sense they do.
I'm sure there's a little bit of animosity.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to the match, though.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who did the best this or that, I want to see the match.
The match is going to deliver. Absolutely. There's no question.
That's more than I can say for when Rock faced Cena. I wasn't nearly as excited for that match.
I think for that thing, you're looking forward to okay, it's gonna be a really cool moment to watch live. But it's the match wise, okay, the match is gonna be fine, but it's that build up, that anticipation, you're gonna see these two guys in the ring together. That was the moment. So but this match, I'm just saying when they're wrestling, it's going to be something pretty cool.
Plus, for me, it's going to be very unique because it kind of symbolizes something where I grew up in that era where I was the biggest Rock fan. You know? I'd stand on the couch and throw my arm up, you know, and
can you do the eyebrow?
You know?
Oh, look at that! You can do the eyebrow.
You know, I love that. And then I kind of got jaded from wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I went to indie wrestling and watched a guy named CM Punk, and now that's all coming full circle for me.
It's also very, very interesting because like this is very much like independent wrestling versus mainstream. Like Rock, he was born into mainstream wrestling. His dad was a WWE guy. Rock was, thrust into the WWE spotlight and, told, hey, start running.
He had the size. He was a football player in college.
Exactly. He had everything the WWE wanted. And to his credit, he may not have started out great, but he improved a shitload.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's CM Punk, a guy who basically worked his way from the ground up. He literally had to fight for everything he got in wrestling. In life, even. Yeah. Like, so CM Punk, so it's very much a parallel of, like, you got The Rock who was given, well, I don't want to say given, he was given the opportunities to succeed, and he did, and CM Punk who had to fight for his opportunities.
And it's also another thing I want to point out is that The Rock was given athletic ability. He was born with it.
Yeah.
And if you look back at CM Punk, he was a guy that, he's not a natural athlete. He's had to work his ass off.
Oh yeah. And and like, let's be honest, like Rock, he looks like an athlete. CM Punk, he doesn't look like an athlete.
Right.
But this is gonna be a great match. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that the ratings have increased for the WWE. But what that's about, like the start, like people actually giving a shit about the company now, or if it's about The Rock, who knows? But just worth mentioning, I think. Who do you think's gonna win?
The match or the Royal Rumble?
The match.
I'm gonna have to go with The Rock.
I think The Rock's gonna win too. I would say right now though, if they were to do maybe CM Punk winning, how big of a shocker would that be?
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
And actually, I think personally for me, I think Rock versus CM Punk at Mania has more power than CM Punk or Rock versus John Cena.
I think it would have, but I don't think a rematch will.
Oh yeah, good point. I wouldn't mind Rock and Cena at Royal Rumble. I thought but whatever.
Here's how I feel about the Royal Rumble. How I think it's going to play out. If the Rock's matches last, the Rock's going to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. You never know.
I mean, it is hard to say.
Hey, WWE is always about getting one over on the internet. So maybe they just change their mind. But I do think we'll see The Rock with the belt. So maybe he'll win an Elimination Chamber. Be a good way to protect Punk's image of not losing to The Rock.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think no matter what, it's going to be a great match.
It should be. I look forward to it.
Oh, absolutely.
It should be something that you're going to remember.
Yeah. Do you think we'll go on last though, or do you think the Rumble will go on last?
That's tough because, I mean, if the Rumble goes on last, Cena's winning it.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we both have the same idea that Cena's probably going to win the Rumble.
Probably, sure. Yeah. I believe
he's really the only guy that has maybe Orton and Sheamus, but even those guys they've just been kind of fluttering between title wins. Cena's always been kind of the big focus on it. The whole thing is 2013 is going to be his year and everything.
I really don't see anybody else that even stands out as a real possibility.
Yeah, Ryback. Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Hopefully not.
I'm hoping he's involved with the Shield or something come WrestleMania.
I hope so too. Or one thing I did was thrown out there was Big Show versus him at WrestleMania. Which if Ryback can pick up the Big Show, more power to him.
I'd really like to see Cesaro versus Big Show, just so he could have that WrestleMania moment of picking up the Big Show and neutralizing him.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
That would be really amazing.
Okay, but I think The Rock and CM Punk will go on last because I think WWE knows that that's the match that everyone wants to see.
Plus, it's The Rock.
It's The Rock, yeah, exactly, and you're gonna end it with a big confetti if he wins. When he wins, probably.
So you're picking John Cena.
I'm picking Cena.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to pick Cena also.
And by the way, we're recording this on the 21st before Raw, so if maybe Raw will change our minds or whatever, but I think we're pretty much a lock for who we think's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well let's talk about some other news, which is the big news coming out, and actually I already did a video about this. El Generico signed to the WWE. What do you got to say about that?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to El Generico. There's nobody in the independents that deserves it more. He works so hard, and he makes everybody look good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he deserves to get the paycheck. He deserves that.
Let me ask you right now. can you name one time you've seen an El Generico match that wasn't good?
No.
Yeah, me
and
neither.
The thing is, I remember the first match I ever saw of El Generico was just like this random DVD that I got of the Ted Petty Invitational in a high school gym, tiny, who cares?
Yeah.
And I was just blown away, you know?
Oh,
yeah. And now what we do need to discuss is, do you think that once he's brought in, is he going to be used right? Are they going to keep the mask on?
Okay, this has been a hot topic. Okay, first of all, I actually had like a Twitter thing with JR. Like, he actually said that like he thinks that they'll change the gimmick just for copyright, which I'm fine with. You know, doesn't need to be El Generico. You can name him to El Luchador or whatever, or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could pick almost any word in the Spanish dictionary and it'll work.
Here's my thing: if you're going to keep him as the Mexican luchador, which I think they're going to, because let's face it, Rey Mysterio, he's on his way out the door pretty soon. Like his body's not keeping up as well as it should. I would venture to say that maybe this year will be his last year, if not 2014.
Plus, doesn't he have a couple strikes against him?
He has two. He has two.
Yeah.
Sin Cara, another mask guy, is a bust.
Complete bust.
Bust. You know. He'll probably keep him around, but he's never going to be the draw. Mm-hmm. El Generico, this guy has the potential. He will sell masks out the window. Oh, kids will be eating this guy alive.
Definitely.
They'll love him. Every single kid will want to be El Generico for Christmas. If you push him right and market him right, you will get El Generico masks flying out the door. So, if you ask me, and Vince is smart. Vince is not going to waste a moneymaker like masks, which are a hot seller for kids, by taking a guy who's a mask guy and not making him a mask. So
I really hope that they keep the mask on him. I mean, that is a gimmick that has some serious legs.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if they brought him up, and this is how I feel is going to happen, is he's going to get brought up. And he's going to be kind of a comedy guy at first,
which I'm fine with.
Which is
and it works.
That's what his gimmick is. It's almost like a cartoon character.
Exactly. You know? He's kind of like a comic book character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but man, he can bump.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's going to be putting guys over, and he'll get noticed.
Yeah.
And plus, you got to realize, like, with all these other independent guys coming up through the ranks, a lot of the top guys in WWE have already wrestled these other guys, so you know that the matches should be good, and they most likely will be good. So
okay, I was saying like I think he could be a guy like who could like get like a Santino thing, like where he's a gimmicky kind of thing. But the thing is, unlike Santino, he'll be able to prove his wrestling ability really well.
Yeah, I think Generico's ceiling is much higher than Santino.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
much higher.
But I will say right now, like Triple H was the guy who signed him. That's crazy that but Triple H. I think a lot of people give Triple H shit, but Triple H has got a pretty good eye for talent, I think.
Well, I will say this is that Triple H has been reported as saying that the system as far as creating new stars is broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason he said that is because there's no more territories.
Yeah.
But now, instead of territories, there's independence. Mm-hmm. And I think Triple H is starting to understand that the guys that travel around the world and craft themselves into a real pro wrestler are guys that are worth going out and picking up.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from like Triple H being one of the boys, being in the locker room with the guys, like working his way up. So I think a lot of people give Triple H shit, but I think he knows the wrestling business a lot more than people want to give him credit for.
Yeah. I think he understands that you can't get a bodybuilder and teach him how to wrestle. Mm-hmm. You need to get a wrestler and put him on a diet plan.
Take him to the gym.
Right.
Thinking of like the whole kind of bodybuilder thing. You want to talk about Eve leaving? Like her, like that? Like, Eve Torres, the Divas champion, former Divas champion, left WWE. WWE lost like every major diva this year.
The thing is, you can't blame these women because
they're not wrestlers.
Exactly. WWE, when they bring them in, they weren't looking for wrestlers. They were looking for models.
Yeah.
And what are models going to do? They're going to model.
Yep.
And if a model comes into WWE and gets over like Kelly and Eve did,
the Bella Twins, it
makes sense that they need to leave when they're hot because it's a dangerous business. You can't be models shouldn't be falling off top ropes.
No.
Candice Michelle bounced her head off the mat a couple years ago, and you just if you really want to be taken seriously in a modeling, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get us off topic, but like I think this just proves like why you need to be looking for women wrestlers. Like, look at like Shimmer. Look at SU, which is a really popular one. Look at Shine or whatever. You know,
Right.
those are women you should be trying to get signed, not, you know, America's Next Hot Model or whatever.
Exactly.
So, but also, there's reports that this month, by the end of January, Sami Callihan, the Briscoe brothers, and Ricky Reyes will have had trial matches with WWE.
And Adam Cole.
And was Adam Cole on that list too?
Yeah.
Okay. I think. Who do you think will be? If do you think any of those guys will sign or be, you know, try to get signed or whatever?
I think that we'll have heard Sammy's name a lot. I think the guys that should be signed are the Briscoes. I mean,
Absolutely.
They just.
I was right now. Right. One thing I'll say about the Briscoes is like they've done everything in Ring of Honor that they're going to do. They're never going to be world champions. I don't think. Because they're so good as a tag team, and I think they're at the point where like, you know, they've done everything in Ring of Honor, and like I think maybe some of the fans still like to see them, but they're kind of tired of the Briscoes a little bit. Like
I think that the fans still love them in Ring of Honor. It's just, yeah, it's time.
Yeah, it's like how many times do you win the tag team titles?
It kind of reminds me of when Danielson or Daniel Bryan, when he was in ROH, after, what was it, probably 2008, 2009, you were just like, I mean, we loved his matches and everything, but there's really nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like, he was the face of the company. Everybody knew he was the best, and it was time for him to go.
I think the Briscoes are at that point too.
I agree.
Sammy, I could see getting signed because he does have a very unique look, and like I think a lot of people like underrate him. I think he's a very versatile wrestler. He can be not so much a high flyer, but he can be a technical guy. He can be a brawler. I think a lot, and like his promos are great too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people overrate him, and like he's got a unique look to him. You can't deny that.
Yes, he does. And he works hard. He works harder than anybody.
He's a worker. Hell yeah.
He was used to be fat. He was overweight, and he just works his ass off.
Yeah, he's still a little bit of a fat guy, but like, you know, he's not like
He's a cardio machine.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would not imagine like how fast that guy would work based on his size.
Right.
And Adam Cole, I think we'll definitely they'll be trying to get him signed because he has money written all over him.
If not now, eventually.
Oh yeah,
he's just.
I think he's just too young. Personally, if
he'll
I was
be
Adam,
there one day.
Yeah, if I was Adam Cole, I would say like, listen, he's at the top of his game right now in ROH or in PWG. He's really rising fast in Ring of Honor. I would not be signing if I was him. I'd be saying, listen, I got my whole career. He's 22 years old. He has plenty of time.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him to take.
I would not blame him
to get your money while you're still you can.
Yeah.
But the independent scene really could use a guy like that.
Absolutely.
It's really starting to get tough on the independents when WWE and TNA keeps coming in and skimming everything off the top.
Yep. And plus, I want to see Adam Cole as ROH champion.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see it too. What about Ricky Reyes? You're not too hot on Ricky, are you?
I'm not big on Ricky Reyes. Yeah. It's not that he's not a good wrestler. It's not that he can't put on a decent match. It's that he's got very little charisma.
And that's the thing that sells tickets in WWE.
And he never got over in ROH.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He works in ROH style, but he couldn't get over in ROH, and that's very strange.
Yeah.
Like I said before, he's got no charisma at all. And his size, he's really not that big.
Yeah,
he really isn't.
I've heard a few people talk highly of him, and I think out of the guys we named, he's probably the one that's least likely to get signed.
Yeah.
And like I said, that charisma thing that's going to play the factor because, like, you know, WWE, you can teach a guy to wrestle, you can't teach charisma.
Right.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about a guy who we know from the independent scene, who just debuted in NXT, Pac, aka by his new NXT name, Adrian Neville. I actually saw his little match he had with Sakamoto. The guy still can go. He's still doing like his flips and stuff. He's still very agile, and he actually won using the corkscrew shooting star press.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When was the last time you saw a guy in WWE use the corkscrew shooting star press?
Never.
I think so.
This is a guy that people, when they see him, they won't believe it.
Yeah.
He can do some of the most jaw-dropping moves.
The guy is agile as fuck.
Oh, man.
Okay, first of all, he's a really tall guy, really muscular. He's got a six-pack on him.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
And he's probably, in my opinion, probably the number 2 high flyer in America. Ricochet probably be number 1.
I don't know. I think that he's probably number 1.
Okay, well, that's to each his own. But
and that's the world, not just America.
Okay.
But those two guys are the top.
Neck and neck, yeah. I think Pac, like, he's the guy that, like, he's more, I don't want to say versatile, like, because Ricochet's really great at, like, being versatile, but, like, I think he's more believable as, like, he looks like a guy who's not going to be just a high flyer. Like he can be a technical wrestler. He can be a brawler.
And that's a compliment to his size too.
Exactly.
He's really worked on his body over the years. I've seen his matches dating back to 05, and he's definitely come around physically.
Oh yeah.
And he's definitely polished his style.
Yeah, he's very, very polished. Just tremendous athlete, and go check out his match on NXT. It was the January 6th episode, and I think it was the 6th one. I don't know, but just guys got talent. And as for WWE, like letting him use the corkscrew shooting star press, I think that it's a smart thing to do. First of all, because what guy in WWE can use that move? Probably no one. But like if he's safe with it and he can land it and not hurt anyone, do it.
Right. That's how I feel. Is if he's safe. And you look at remember when the shooting star press, the original one, used to be banned.
Yeah.
And then Evan Bourne came in and did it. And when he does it, there's really almost no risk of injury because he's so good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
But speaking of Evan Bourne, if they bring up Pac before Bourne's back, Bourne can say
Bourne,
goodbye. Because
Evan Bourne is one of those guys I'd categorize he's just a high flyer. Like anything else, he's just he's a spot guy. Unfortunately,
I mean, well, to his credit, he can have really great.
He's been
a lot of different guys.
It's a shame he's been injured for so long because I think he's.
It's gonna be tough to get that spot back.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we hope that Adrian Neville is very, very successful when he comes into the WWE. Both like him, Chris Hero, Cash Adono, whatever call him, hopefully those guys get bumped up pretty soon. Not too soon, because they get lost in shuffle.
To touch on another, since we're on the NXT young guy topic, and we're talking about a lot of these guys that are thought about being brought up.
Yeah.
I keep hearing the same name. A lot of people want to see Richie Steamboat brought up.
I like Richie.
Really?
Yeah, he does wrestle a lot like his dad.
I'm gonna stop you there, and this is what the point I was going for was when I see his matches. To me, it just strikes me as a guy is really trying to be Dragon.
Yeah.
He really. I mean, his moveset is almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, if you look at Ricky Steamboat back in the day, that style is very dated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you see Richie doing the same thing, it's just it just feels like a ripoff. And and that's not to say that Richie can't wrestle.
Oh yeah.
But what I feel like is that if he could take that style and make it more of a compliment to his dad's style rather than an exact copy, he would be a lot better off.
I agree.
I don't think he's got a chance to get over if he keeps that style.
Yeah.
That's just my
there's another guy that's very popular. He's actually on the live shows right now. Bo Dallas, which is Husky Harris's brother and IRS's youngest son. A lot of people have been very high on him. Like he was talked about very highly in NXT. Like he's only 22 years old as well. Like very, very good worker, I heard.
I haven't seen his stuff.
He's pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of his NXT stuff because I don't watch NXT, unfortunately. But if you turn with the WWE on live shows and you're getting wins, that's pretty good high praise right there. So we'll see about that. All right. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about Del Rio winning the world title last week on SmackDown over the Big Show on a Last Man Standing match, which was actually a pretty good match. I watched it. I think they did a good job of building Del Rio up as the babyface, and the live crowd was really going nuts because hometown it was in Miami, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and it's big Latin community, Latin wrestler, probably the biggest Latin wrestler they got in WWE right now because Ray's on personal time. Mm-hmm. So getting the big win, and I was very surprised by this, mainly because, well, for one thing, it was a taped show, and they spoiled it. Now, they do this because, wrestling sites will spoil it anyway, but it's why would they do this on Raw? They have 3 hours. They had the 20th anniversary right then and right next week. Why do it then?
That's a good question. I don't understand why they didn't put this on the 20th anniversary of Raw, because that show really wasn't that great.
No,
anyway.
It didn't have any spectacular matches. I actually can't remember one match that was really good. Oh, Cena versus Ziggler in the cage was alright.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But back to Del Rio, I wasn't big on his face turn originally.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
I didn't really.
I think just how it was done. It was done on pay-per-view in a throwaway, no one gives a shit match.
Right, and then he comes back and hits Santa Claus with the car, so it was a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
He's owning it. He's doing very well.
But
owning up to
WWE, if you were going to put the belt on him, why didn't you do it
You get the pay-per-view.
Do it at one of the 12 pay-per-views he was in the matches, the title matches with last year. It's just kind of, it just felt late. But honestly, I understand that he's changing into a face, and hopefully this will push him forward and kind of get that staleness off of him.
Yeah, he was very stale for a long time. I think ever since, like, I'd venture to say, like, oh man, since like last year, like maybe like after he lost the belt to Punk, like he's been very stale.
Yeah, just
man, it was bad. But yeah, I think Del Rio could be the next big Latin star, like for the WWE.
Plus, it's better than Big Show.
Better than Big Show. But like he has the potential to be like not as good as Eddie, but like he could be that guy who's like versatile. Who could be a heel, could be a face. You had to mix him up and then see what else he can do. But we'll see.
He needs a really good heel to put him over.
Oh yeah, which I think the Big Show is doing a pretty good job of that. I think because Big Show's been a pretty good heel. He hasn't been great, but he's been good. Like I was thinking actually, like what would you do for WrestleMania for Del Rio?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I was thinking this idea. Like, the idea basically right now is from the WWE is Orton versus Sheamus at WrestleMania. Now, whether that's for the belt will be determined, but I think it'd be smart to just let those guys have a one-on-one match and have instead Del Rio versus Ziggler for the belt. Because like, Ziggler hasn't had a WrestleMania match, a really big one anyway. You could even do like where like if Del Rio wins in Elimination Chamber,
Well, he does have the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what I'm thinking. You can either do Del Rio wins Elimination Chamber, big moment, the big new face, wins this really hard challenge. Ziggler cashes in then, or if you actually want to be original, have Ziggler say, I'm going to cash in at WrestleMania, and have Ziggler versus Del Rio at WrestleMania with the Money in the Bank cash in, whatever.
I'd be okay with
that. Yeah, I'd be really good.
I'm sure it'd be a fantastic match.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I think those guys work very well together, but that's just my idea. I'm throwing it out there. Because like I don't think Sheamus versus Orton needs the belt. And I don't want to see Sheamus as world champion for a little bit.
No, Sheamus has kind of fallen off.
Yeah, he's still a good worker though. But yeah, he didn't need that monstrous title running and just kind of showing they didn't know what to do with him afterwards. But speaking of face turns that worked, let's talk about one that didn't work. The Miz.
I was not a fan of this.
No. Let's be honest here right now. Miz, he's kind of a douche. He looks like a douche. He talks like a douche. He is a douche.
And the thing is, it's not like something that people watched wrestling and like, oh, we don't like this guy. This guy's been on TV for years. Everybody's seen him at his worst. And also, he's a reality TV star, and he goes on the red carpet, and
he's dating Maurice or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He's not to me, and you said it before. He's a guy playing a wrestler.
He's acting like a wrestler on television. He is not a wrestler, and it's true. He has some skills. He's not the worst looking wrestler in the world, and definitely not the worst wrestler in WWE. No. But I don't believe him when he's talking in the mic. It's a guy acting. Yeah. He doesn't believe what he's saying half the time. He doesn't look the crispest in the ring. He looks pretty good at times, and like once in a while he'll get a really good match out of someone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't buy him as a wrestler.
No. And then last week they had a segment with him and Flair.
Woo!
And Flair came out and did the Miz TV show.
Yeah. Which, by the way, let's talk about that right now. Horrible thing. It's horrible. Well, it's pointless.
Yeah, the show's stupid.
Yeah.
But when they brought out Flair, you could just tell by Flair's facial expressions, his mannerisms, that he really didn't respect the Miz.
Yeah,
he was out there to put him over, but he didn't care.
You can tell a very distinct difference between Flair in a promo with CM Punk versus Flair in a promo with the Miz.
There's a lot of guys that Flair has been in promos with, and you can tell that they have earned his respect.
Yeah.
But you could tell where he was just sitting there, he wouldn't even look at the Miz. He doesn't respect him.
No.
And I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him either. And let me say right now, if Ric Flair in one promo can't get you over as a heel or as a face, you're doing something wrong.
That whole segment had there was no point at all.
Yeah,
it went nowhere.
Flair was just doing woo, woo, woo.
They didn't talk about anything in
They
particular.
didn't. And then Cesaro came out, he got laid out, and then Ric Flair looks like he's going to put him in the figure four, and then The Miz does it. Oh boy, the crowd shit on that.
That should be exciting.
God. And now Miz apparently is using the figure four.
And it's really going
to
draw the fans in.
Miz has not earned the right to use the figure four. He has not. Adam Cole does a better figure four than the Miz does. But I don't know. Miz should go back to if I was WWE, I'd be trying to get get to WrestleMania, let The Miz do his promotional shit, which he's really good at. And then after WrestleMania, try to turn him heel. Because the experiment has failed.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay. Well, how about from one shitty thing to another shitty thing? Let's talk about TNA. Where to begin with this one?
Ouch.
Well, how about
we're talking about Impact?
We're talking about like the past few Impacts. Let's talk about Mr. Get Hit Shit in Brian Cage Taylor, or Brian Cage, I guess, on Gut Check with a guy named Jade Bradley.
Those two guys went out there and had one of the better Gut Check matches of all the Gut Checks.
More exciting, anyway.
Yeah, just a good match.
Really criminally short, though.
It was
really
short.
Like, what, 4 minutes long, maybe?
And that's to be expected, I guess. But neither guy really got a chance to showcase anything.
No, Brian Cage got I think 3 moves in. He got a little bit of his shit in, but he didn't get all of his shit in.
That's the thing. Like, if people saw what he was capable of, they'd be
no shit. Yeah.
Blown away, and the crowd loved him too.
Oh, dude, he was over as hell with the crowd. Jay Bradley got shit on a lot.
But then
then we come to last week's Impact, where TNA in their infinite wisdom, like, okay, they're both out there, and TNA just like, I think it was Bruce Pritchard, right?
I believe it was.
I believe, yeah. He goes right to, like, oh, well, Brian, you were pretty good, but you didn't win, so you're out. It's like, so you basically flew him out there to Florida for a 5-second, him in the ring for 5 seconds and then he leaves.
I mean, to me, it looked like they knew all along who they were gonna pick.
They were just trying to get like some indie guys so that maybe fans would watch. You know?
And I mean, they didn't give him any criticisms.
Nope.
They didn't give him any pointers. They just said, "You're gone."
Yep,
and
you lost.
know what's
bye.
You could tell by looking at him like that. That's just wrong. You shouldn't do that to somebody, and especially a guy so talented.
Oh God.
And then they go on to sign this Jay Bradley, and it's not that he's a bad wrestler.
No, I've heard very high praises from him on online. Like, he's a pretty good worker. Apparently,
he can work.
Yeah,
but this is not. He is never going to be a draw. I mean,
he's not going to be he may be a draw, but he's not going to be the top guy.
I don't see him ever being a real draw.
Brian Cage has him to be the top guy.
Top guy, top draw.
Yeah,
and he's a big, strong guy. He looks like a wrestler, and he can do moves that you would not expect.
He can talk too. He can cut a pretty good promo too.
Yes. I just thought this was stupid.
Yeah. But let's be honest here right now. Brian Cage probably won't fit in TNA. Brian Cage has WWE material written all of them, though.
I don't know. I think he could fit into TNA. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, he's exactly the kind of guy that WWE wants. He's a big guy. He's tall. He's muscular. He's agile. You know, he's the guy that WWE should be looking at. I don't know why they're not. They had him in FCW for, like, back in 2008 or whatever, and then, like, he got fired and he got ripped as hell.
Yeah, motivated.
Motivation will do that to a guy. Okay, well, let's talk about something even shittier, which was the Brooke Hogan Bully Ray wedding. Well, let's first talk about the week before that, before the pay-per-view Genesis, where Bully Ray proposed to Brooke Hogan. You turned your top heel of 2012 into a guy who proposes to Brooke Hogan on national television.
And you wasted a pay-per-view segment for this?
Yeah, you wasted a pay-per-view segment.
Why do people have to pay to see that? That's what I don't understand. Why should anyone pay to see that?
I would have asked my money back after watching that segment.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
And then you look at TNA, and it's another thing where, like, they didn't build anything.
No.
You promote it on the pay-per-view, and then the next week it happens.
Yeah.
Like, how's anybody who actually watches the TV show supposed to know about that?
Yeah. But let's get to the actual episode, where basically probably about half the show was all about the fucking wedding.
They built the whole show around it.
Yeah. You had backstage promo of Bully Ray and his groomsmen, Spike Dudley and Tommy Dreamer. Tommy, go back to WWE. The paycheck's probably better, and you actually get to wrestle.
Go back to Extreme Rising or
House
of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore. I heard
please stay off our TV because you're kind of old. I mean, I respect you, but
go back. We can wrestle in Chikara a little bit, but stay off TNA, and if WWE can actually the Hall of Fame, do it, or let's do the Royal Rumble, whatever. But yes, we had that. We had the big buildup of will Hulk Hogan walk Brooke down the aisle.
Who honestly cared about it? Is there anyone who watched that show who actually was concerned about that?
I just love the fact that Sting went out there and is trying to. It's like, this is a fucking wrestling show, and Brooke Sting is trying to talk Hogan into walking his daughter down the fucking aisle.
I hate weddings anyway on wrestling shows. I think they're just
they're horrible. They've never the best one was the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, and like they've never gotten better than that. But
ever since then, like, has there ever been a wedding that wasn't interrupted? Like, something's gonna happen. So what's
I know
why even try?
It's the punchline of wrestling.
You'd be an idiot to actually want your wedding out there.
Let's talk about how legitimate this looks like. Let's see. We had Brooke Hogan out there with Hulk Hogan, who miraculously showed up at the last minute. Who just happened to have a wedding tux available backstage.
No, and a black bandana.
Yeah. And let's see. There was no family of Brooks. That apparently all of her friends are wrestlers because that's all the bridesmaids were female wrestlers.
Which is weird because she lives in Florida. But
yeah. And no Nick there. I guess he couldn't get parole.
Yeah, really.
And Linda there, I guess her rehab was stepping.
Well, she got DUI, so she couldn't make it.
Rehab. She was trying to, but she pre-gamed before the wedding, I guess.
Yeah, she had all right time.
Yeah. So we get to the wedding and they cut these very, very horrible vows. Like I've heard better wedding vows on sitcoms, I think. Which and then we had Taz, who interrupted and revealed that he is a member of Aces and Eights. And then Aces and Eights proceeded to beat down the entire wedding party in like 30 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
While Brooke was trying to hold her dress together and make sure.
So the wedding segment was about 10 minutes long, and then the actual meat of the story was about a minute.
Oh, by the way, Aces and Eights were on the whole show, so it's like you knew. Okay, so they're gonna probably interfere in this wedding, right?
Yeah.
It's like it was pretty fucking obvious.
But like you said, Taz reveals that he's part of the Aces and Eights, and I've seen people and heard people saying, "Oh, this is great. This is like NWO." I'm like, how is this great? What are they going to do with Taz? He can't wrestle. What's he going to do? Just sit up there and make snide comments? He already does that.
Yeah, his commentary is fucking. Oh, I forgot to mention, like on the Genesis, like during the Knockouts Gauntlet, he was basically just making one like sex joke after another.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me.
I could do without.
But let's be clear. Like we're gonna get fucking Don West during the Midnight Mafia storyline where he was a heel announcer and was just horrible on commentary.
Like who cares?
Don West was already bad enough as it was.
Why does that matter? I don't understand.
It's stupid. And it's like more WWE guys. But I want to talk about something that was actually good in that show though, which was Austin Aries and Bobby Roode going out there on live television and basically shitting on the company.
Yeah, shooting.
Yeah.
On them.
I think Aries went out there to shoot. Bobby Roode was like, what the fuck? It's like, okay, I gotta go with it,
Well, what I think happened was that when Aries started talking, if you watch Rude, you can pick up on it, is Rude really doesn't know where he's going with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that at first he thought that Aries was burying the company, and Rude, I think, was thinking, oh no, here it comes, I'm gonna get it too.
Yeah.
But then Aries turned and said, we are the guys. It's us. Us two are the guys that carry this company. Mm-hmm. We're the ones having the best matches. And I think it kind of clicked with Rude where he thought, yeah, hell yeah.
I also like the fact that Aries brought up the fact that every champion in TNA right now is a former WWE guy.
Yeah.
How fucking ridiculous is that?
How old is their youngest champion?
I don't fucking know. Probably the youngest champion. Yeah, probably.
I mean Hernandez, but he's like 30-something.
Yeah, he doesn't count because he's not a WWE guy. But we're talking about the WWE guys. Like they're like I think maybe Jeff Hardy's like 36 or 35. He's pretty fucking old though.
It just played out.
It's fucking horrible. And then little stereotypical is Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez came out and interrupted, and Aries made the very snide comment that they're the caterers for the wedding, and he requested a vegan burrito.
Yeah.
Yes, which I hope.
Comical.
Yes. So hopefully we'll see Bobby Roode and Aries as the tag team champions, and maybe bring some life back into the tag team division that once was in TNA.
Hopefully.
Okay, and you want to touch upon the CZW thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We just wanted to touch upon this.
We're basically doing it like where it's good, bad, and the bad part, and then we'll get to some good more. So let's talk about this real quick. Go ahead if you want. Be so kind.
You kind of stopped me there. What? Jump in for me.
CZW, in its infinite wisdom, has booked Christine Von Eerie, formerly of TNA. I think she's still dating Jesse Neal.
DG USA talent.
Yeah, DG USA talent. Valet for Mad Blanky.
Beautiful.
Very, 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 very easy on the eyes. She's going to be booked in a death match with the reigning CZW World Heavyweight Champion. I think it's maybe just Heavyweight Champion. I don't know if it's a World Champion, whatever. Masada. Has anyone ever seen Masada wrestle? If you haven't, he's stiff. He's really fucking stiff.
Yeah, he's brutal.
Oh yeah, he's a brawler. And for CZW to book something like this, first off, I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck did Christy Von Eerie allow this to be booked? Hopefully she's getting the biggest paycheck of her career, because for health reasons she should be. And two, why? Just this is dangerous.
I really don't like this. You know, Chikara does this where they have men versus women, but it feels like a competitive environment. This feels like a snuff film about to happen.
Christine Von Eerie.
It's very much in bad taste.
Christine Von Eerie is a very, very skinny person. She's shorter than me. She's shorter than, she's probably like 5'2", maybe?
She's taller than that.
Okay,
she's probably about 5'6".
Well, with the hair, I guess,
I guess, yeah, she's probably a little shorter than I thought. But
Masada is like almost probably about 6 foot.
Oh, he's taller than that. He's about 6'3", 6'4".
Okay. Big motherfucker. He's gonna hurt her, I think.
I just don't see this ending well.
No, this is gonna end badly.
But the reason we wanted to bring this up is that we want to touch on CZW because we like to hear, we like to talk about all wrestling from everywhere. But on this station and on our channel, we're not going to touch too much on CZW. The style, it's too violent for this day and age.
We like a street fight or a last man standing match as much as the next guy did, but when you're having guys doing flips to the outside with no mats and busting their ass,
landing on light tubes and
glass and
barbed wire and
just
bleeding all over each other, and
we don't like that. I don't like that. Like, for instance, we recently watched the Steen Super Dragon match from Astounding X-Men from PWG. Very, very good match. But at the time I was watching that, I'm just like, Steen is literally getting the shit kicked out of him. His life is literally in danger, and I was physically worried for him in his safety.
And the thing is, this was a match that happened 6-7 years ago, and you still feel that way watching it, and it's very uncomfortable.
It's difficult to watch.
And these are guys that they got to go home. These guys have kids, and that's why I wanted to say, like, we're not shitting on CZW.
No, absolutely not.
I'm not going to disrespect the guys, because those guys go out there and bust their ass.
Oh, absolutely.
I won't give you. They're tough as hell.
Yeah, and a lot of great talent have come from CZW. Sammy Callahan, Drake Younger, Adam Cole, Steen, AR Fox, Claudio, Eddie Kingston. A lot of great guys come through CZW. So we're not shitting on the company at all. We're just saying that we personally don't enjoy watching CZW, and we won't be talking about it very often.
Right. You won't see any CZW reviews on this channel.
I will be reviewing CZW shows. There's a few that I want to watch.
Well, shit, you're making me look bad.
Well, okay, let me phrase that. Us as a group, our group of that we are doing for the foreseeable future, will not be discussing CZW at length. Yeah. But I will be watching it, and if I enjoy it, I will review it. But if not, then don't expect to see it. But I am not a CZW fan by any stretch of the imagination, and I do not recommend watching their shows unless you have a strong stomach for violence.
And the thing is, like we said, we don't want to get too down on things like that too much. And death matches in general, because without death matches, Mick Foley wouldn't be being inducted into the Hall of Fame right now. Without him, his career would be, probably most of us would have never heard of his name. Yeah. So it's a hard, touchy subject, because death matches are, you don't want to see them, but they've helped a lot of guys. So it's just something that we're going to avoid. Like we've said in other videos, we're all about safe and exciting wrestling. Yeah. And I don't think CZW offers that up and down the card. So we're going to avoid talking too much about it.
For the foreseeable future, unless they change dramatically, mainly get rid of DJ Hyde, who I'm not a fan of at all. Alright, now let's talk about something more positive, which is the recent PWG show, DDT4 2013, which was actually, it turned out to be El Generico's last night in PWG, where he is probably considered the MVP of PWG. Been in the second most matches of any pro PWG guy.
And they've all been fantastic.
Absolutely.
Everyone I've seen has been amazing.
So we had their tag team tournament, which featured the Briscoe brothers, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Future Shock, the Young Bucks, the Unbreakable Fucking Machines, Michael Elgin and Brian Cage, the Inner City Machine Guns, Ricochet and Rich Swann, who I refer to as two fly black guys. and they apparently like that nickname. Which, yeah, I think it's a good name.
It's pretty fitting.
Yeah. And the Dojo Bros, Eddie Edwards and Roderick Strong. And the Super Smash Bros. I forgot them. Sorry. We actually saw, it was pretty interesting because we saw the Unbreakable Fucking Machines beat the Super Smash Bros. In the first round to win the tag team titles. Which they then lost to the Young Bucks in the next round. And the finals of the DDT4 tournament were El Generico and Kevin Steen teaming up against the Young Bucks in the finals, and the Young Bucks won. So the Young Bucks won DDT4 for the third time in PWG history. That's pretty fucking impressive.
Oh yeah, and I don't have a problem with it.
No,
because
absolutely not.
The Bucks spent all of last year kind of losing matches, putting other guys over.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a way to say, hey, they're still just as good.
Yeah, exactly, and that's smart. And I think you can do a lot with the Bucks as champions. You can bring in the Briscoes again, have a match with them. Obviously,
you can establish the Rockiness Monsters.
Yep. Well, actually, they're heels. So you
are they?
Yeah, they're heels now. You can have Unbreakable Fucking Machines against the Bucks again, which I think everyone would love to see.
Yeah, I think an extended feud would really put over.
Oh yeah.
Well, everybody, but obviously the Unbreakable Fucking Machines.
Yeah, but yeah, great for the Bucks, and they well deserved because they are easily one of the best tag teams in wrestling today. No question about it.
Maybe the best.
Maybe the best. Yeah. But also let's talk about El Generico. His last night in PWG and last night really on mainstream indies, I guess. Really emotional, I think, for like everyone involved, especially because he was teaming with Kevin Steen, his longtime partner, friend, rival, whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. And Steen did a very nice job of putting over El Generico after the show. El Generico, of course, being El Generico, said he's going to Mexico to take care of orphans.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Kayfabe, bro.
Yeah, can't break it.
Yep. But I think that's really it was a really nice of PWG to give El Generico that chance, that one last moment in the sun, and really not awesome that Kevin Steen got to be in the match one last time. Although I would have loved to see them have a match in one more time in PWG, but you got that in Ring of Honor, so can't knock that. Also, shame he's not going to be at Dragon Gate USA this next weekend.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
That is. But I'm glad that, like we've said before, we're both very glad that he got the opportunity. And if you get the chance, check out DDT4. If you're a fan of El Generico and Kevin Steen, especially El Generico, go out of your way to see this. It's going to be something. The preview
video is up on PWG's YouTube page. And actually, if you're a big fan of El Generico and his work, and you want to see what he was like in PWG, you can buy the Many Adventures of El Generico DVD from PWG, the website, which contain 2 discs of some of his best match in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, including a match with Kevin Steen he had at the end of 2011 in a ladder match at Steenwolf, which is arguably one of the best matches of last year.
Yes. And also, ROH has a 2-disc.
Yes, the Olay DVD, which I heard mixed things about because the matches they picked were... But still, it's El Generico. You're going to get good matches no matter what. So, alright, I think I'll wrap it up for this very first episode of, whatever we're going to call this fucking video. I don't know. For now, maybe we'll call it Running the Ropes. I don't know. But thank you for joining us, and take care.